I grew up in post-communist Poland. Like many people, I thought life had one purpose. Study, get married, get a good job, have kids, settle down. I never imagined I would end up living out of one suitcase, running my own business from different countries and calling myself a digital nomad. In today's video, guys, I want to show you what this lifestyle really looks like. The good and the bad, the pros and the cons, the beautiful and the ugly. Most people imagine that I'm exploring all day, sightseeing, drinking coconuts on the beach. To be completely honest with you, most of my days I spent in a coffee shop, 8 to 10 hours editing, doing invoices, talking to my clients, to you guys, having sessions. But how did I actually become a digital nomad? Did I plan this? No, it just happened. I was going with the flow and it just happened. So let's start from the very beginning, and I'm gonna tell you basically long story short. So as you already know, I'm a Polish girl. I grew up in Poland and I lived in Poland until the age of 19. I was working in Poland while I was studying. I, passed all my exams. I didn't feel happy in my home country, not because my home country is bad. Actually, Poland is so beautiful. It has plenty of beautiful nature and beautiful places. It's clean, it's safe, it's amazing. But I just didn't feel like I belonged there. So I decided to leave. First, I moved to the UK because I needed money. I needed to make some money. So I found a job in the UK and I lived there for 6 months. My English was so-so. I could barely speak back then. So I prioritized learning English. So I learned English. I started speaking English fluently. Obviously, it was a process. I break it down step by step in my other videos on this channel. Later, after 6 months, I finally made enough money to start traveling the world. But back then, my plan was to just come back to Poland and go to a university because my mom really wanted me to go. I never felt that it was my personal path. But the social conditioning was so strong that I finally started studying at a university. What did I study? English philology. So yeah, that actually became my career. Then in 2020, we all know what happened. After 1 year and a half, I finally left Poland and I traveled to Spain. And I never came back. I packed my laptop, I packed my camera, I packed my cell phone, and bye-bye. I remember I needed to get a COVID vaccine just to leave Poland and go to Spain. I went to the Canary Islands. I felt truly at home in the Canary Islands in Tenerife, the island of Tenerife. It's still so special to me. Later down the line, I met my current partner and we lived together in Tenerife for almost 2 years. And this is when I started this. Wanna Speak by Veronique. This is where my child was born, this project, and I couldn't be happier. But as you can imagine, at the beginning, I didn't make a lot of money out of this project. I just had a few coaching clients, and thank God it was enough to sustain myself. I always had this travel spirit within me. I always knew that there is this whole big world that's full of life lessons for me. I just knew that I needed to go. So my partner is also a YouTuber and we both decided to just pack our stuff and go. Our first stop was Thailand and the rest is history. Basically, we didn't have any plan, we didn't have a lot of money. It was just one country after another, one country after another. Almost 4 years in, we are still here being full-time digital nomads. When I was 4 months in, I remember I was in Bali, then we traveled to Singapore, India, and Nepal. Then we went to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and I was like, holy hell, I am living the life of my dreams. And the first thing that I need to mention, the first beautiful thing is freedom. I am so privileged. We are so privileged. We live in 2026. Right now it's 2026. We live in this era where we have planes, we have internet, we have all these possibilities. I have a European passport, but actually later down the line I realized that the freedom starts here. If we are full of negative beliefs that I can't because yada yada yada, then you can't. So I discovered that because of my past trauma and personal things, difficult things that I went through when I was a kid, my freedom really started here. And that I always believed it's possible, that this life is meant for me, that this life is possible. And because I'm from Poland, I'm from Eastern Europe, my grandmothers, my great grandmothers couldn't do it. So in this lifestyle, I see a bigger spiritual purpose. I get to live this life of freedom, honoring my family, honoring past generations that couldn't do it, that they didn't have a choice. And I do have a choice. The other beautiful thing is obviously getting to experience the beauty of this world and the people of this world. I realized going from country to country, from a continent to continent, that people at a core, we are all similar. We all want to go to a park on a Sunday afternoon. We all do the same things. We have coffee in the afternoon and we have breakfast in the morning. It doesn't matter the race, the belief, the religion, or whatever that divides us, in today's world. When I go to Bali, I really love connecting with people and fellow digital nomads, travelers, because Bali is this kind of like digital nomad hub. I love going to yoga classes and meeting women who are like me, in a sense, that we are traveling the world. Sometimes we get lost, then we get found, and exchanging experiences with so many like-minded people is something that is priceless. I got a lot of questions and I still get them. Veronica, but don't you escape from yourself? You travel from a country to country, from a place to place. It looks like an escape. So here I'm going to tell you the real truth. I found myself on the go. When I used to live in Poland, when I used to live in my family home still, this is where I was escaping from myself through parties, addictions, different kinds of addictions, dating, toxic relationships. This is where I was escaping. And at the beginning, when I started traveling, I was also escaping. When I finally became a digital nomad, I started realizing so many things. This is when I finally started growing as a person. I started questioning the world around me. I started questioning my own behavior. And the world basically showed me so many different ways of living a life that I was like, there is no good or bad way of living a life. There is not correct way and incorrect way. They are all just different. So I started asking myself, who am I and how do I want to live my life? And this is when I stopped running from myself. This is when I stopped living on autopilot. And this is when I started choosing consciously. This is when I finally got to know myself. For example, when I was a teenager, I lived on this autopilot. I basically did what the society told me to do, what the teachers told me to do, what my family told me to do. I was doing what my friends were doing. I used to think that I love to party, that I have to party every weekend, that I have to drink alcohol and stuff like that, because everyone from my environment was doing that. But now I know that I'm actually a nature person. I'm actually pretty introverted. I really need to spend time with me. I need my me time. And what I value the most right now is this, what you can see. Nature, palm trees, birds singing, the sea, listening to the sound of waves. And yeah, I realized I stopped running from myself and I finally found myself in this lifestyle. Of course, it's not for everyone. I'm not convincing you to anything. Of course, it's not like an ultimate recipe for a successful life. No, I'm just sharing my story and what worked for me and how all this would be truly impossible without English. But I'm gonna talk about how English actually saved my ass so many times later in this video. One of the hardest things of being a digital nomad is definitely loneliness. It doesn't matter what lifestyle we choose for ourselves, there is usually something that we have to sacrifice. For example, if you choose to have kids and live in one town, then maybe you are not going to be able to travel so much because you live for a different purpose. So I decided to live like this, and I know the price I have to pay. Unfortunately, when you live on the go, when you live on the move, you can't really make really solid friends. Of course, you can contact people through WhatsApp and internet, but it's not the same, you know? So I get to be lonely sometimes, and I really miss having deep connection with other women. My every therapy session has to be online, and I got to see my therapist only once. My therapist is Polish, so when I traveled to Poland actually twice in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I saw her only once. But yeah, that's the price I'm willing to pay for this lifestyle. It's not all flower power, it's not all beautiful and amazing as you can see on Instagram. That means I'm crying alone. That means I am laughing alone sometimes. That means I'm having dinners alone. That means I really needed to get used to saying goodbyes to the friends I make on the go. Being a digital nomad means airports are like my second home, actually. And a lot of people ask me, but Veronica, do you feel at home in any place, like any country? Yes. I have two very special places, and it's definitely Thailand. I feel so at home in Thailand. It's so far from my original culture, but at the same time, it's so close to my heart. For example, I'm not really into any religion, but every time I enter a Buddhist temple, don't ask me how, but I feel something so powerful in my heart. I'm so into spirituality and the nature of consciousness, and I see something so deeply profound in Buddhist temples. It's not really the Buddhist paradigm, it's more about how I feel, what state of consciousness I'm able to enter when I meditate in a Buddhist temple. And the second place that I really feel truly at home is Tenerife, is the island where I met my partner. I always felt that Tenerife is so special to my heart. One thing though, people rarely think about is what gave me a possibility to be a digital nomad. And it was obviously the language. Without English, and later down the line without Spanish, everything that I'm talking about would be absolutely impossible. There was one moment in Thailand in 2023 when I realized English isn't only useful, it actually saved my life. It literally saved me. And I'm gonna tell you this story in a second. But without English, I wouldn't be able to live this life. Why? Because I'm running my business in English. And obviously, for this kind of lifestyle, you need money. So, you know, it's like a chain of events. Can you see? And English is at the beginning. Oh, actually, I would say that the freedom that started in my mind is the first step. Then it's English. Then it's making money, so running the business, and then is traveling and the rest. Yeah, most probably I would be able to make money creating Polish content, but let's be honest, Poland is a relatively small country, and right now I work with a lot of American clients, American brands. English opens so many doors for me. English is the foundation of everything. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to survive in a different country without English. For example, I'm ordering myself a coffee in English in Thailand. I'm ordering myself a coffee in English in Bali. I'm ordering myself a coffee in English in Dubai. Okay, so it's finally time to tell you the story when English saved my life. And it was February of 2023. I recently started traveling full time. I got really sick in Thailand. I actually got appendicitis. This is how you pronounce it, I guess, appendicitis. And I needed to have a really urgent surgery in Chiang Mai, Thailand. I was working with a client, I was, giving a coaching session, and suddenly I got this terribly strong stomach ache. But it was so strong that I couldn't move on with my session. I just needed to tell my client, sorry, I feel so bad. We have to stop here. Immediately, my boyfriend took me to a hospital. I didn't have any time to translate something on my phone. I needed to use English right away because I was in a very serious emergency. Thank God there are amazing hospitals in Thailand. The doctor was speaking perfect English, the nurses were speaking English, and when the doctor saw me, he was like, okay, you need an ultrasound SAP. And when he performed the ultrasound, when they do something like this on your stomach, he was like, you need a surgery now. And I was like, guys, you can't even imagine. I was in shock. I was panicking. I didn't even have time to get a panic attack because everything was happening so fast. And the nurse was, telling me that I can't have nail polish. So she was, removing my nails for a surgery. The doctor was doing something with my stomach. And the nurse was, giving me an IV. Crazy, and they were all speaking English and they were all speaking so fast, so there was no time to use any AI or any Google Translate. I remember, guys, praying to God and saying, thank you so much that I can speak English. So English became like oxygen to me. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to convince you to be a digital nomad. I'm just sharing my lifestyle and how English helped me personally. Oh, there is a stray dog there, and I'm really scared of Thai dogs. Okay, I hope he's not gonna attack me. Your dream might be completely different. Maybe your dream is moving abroad. Maybe your dream is working for an international company. Maybe your dream is to have a partner from a different country. That's amazing. Always follow your dreams, follow your heart, follow what you truly want, follow your personal definition of freedom. English can be the ultimate tool that's gonna let you achieve your dreams. Guys, thank you so much for watching Wanna Speak by Veronique. If my story resonates with you, I still have one spot left for my personalized coaching where you and I get to work together on your English so we can make you a confident English speaker in my 4-week coaching program. This is a very personalized space, so I only accept 4 clients a month. As I said, currently I have one spot left. The link is in the description to my personal WhatsApp, and yes, it's me replying. Take care, and you got this.